Hey, there's that new hotness out there on the street. Y'all tried Tranq. You guys remember? I'm sure you guys are probably in on and around the same age that I am, and you might remember something hitting the South Beach of Florida. Okay, down there in the Miami area. Maybe that was might have been a northern Miami thing. Might have been a Broward County thing. Bath salts. You guys remember that stuff going around at the time? That's what this is kind of sounding like. But unfortunately, like during the late 2000s, 2010s, in that area in time, there weren't places where hardcore drugs weren't completely decriminalized, like up in Portland and Seattle and Vancouver, British Columbia. So this stuff is coming everywhere. And what's the new hotness that's out there? It's called Tranq. It's an animal tranquilizer. Yo, man, this is like K-holes and all of that stupid crap. Like, you know how you avoid this stuff? Stop doing drugs, you weirdos. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced this week that it's cracking down on illegal imports of Xylazine, a powerful animal tranquilizer. Wow, the U.S. The FDA is cracking down on illegal drugs. Cool. What are you doing about the southern border? Oh, right, you don't care. Xylazine, also known as its street name Tranq or zombie drug, is most often used as an adulterant with fentanyl. Oh, great. So you got something that pairs nicely with fentanyl. How adorable. And users are often unaware they're taking it. Well, we can see the aftermath, and yeah, it ain't pretty. The drug may cause users to become sleepier and more prone to overdose, as well as rotting the user's skin with minor to severe wounds. Great. Fantastic. But yeah, okay, so in the Northeast, where everything's all decriminalized, xylazine overdoses by region, 630 in 2020, and then 1,281 in 2021, and then the South just exploding, 1,423. That's because nobody cares about the southern border. So far, Reiser said, Reiser would be, who's this? Dr. Amanda Risser, Senior Medical Director of Substance Use Disorder. It is a very accomplished social worker. Who cares? Xylazine-laced drugs such as fentanyl may turn into injecting them. Oh, great. If xylazine is present, Reiser said it can cause blood vessels to constrict, starving the skin of blood and oxygen beyond the injection site. So, according to her, it doesn't look like Tranq has reached Oregon's drug supply in the same way it's gripped other states, but, well, because the laws are lax there and it's just a free-for-all time, well, guess what, man? Now, it's only a matter of time before all of your favorite drugs start getting mixed in with something else that's a whole hell of a lot cheaper than Bogata's best. And it's actually worse than they were letting on, because it is zombifying people, just making them into, well, we'll just go ahead and let it speak for itself. Substance, which seemed to first appear in Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds, was where, well, they were all just kind of shambling around before migrating west to San Francisco and Los Angeles. What? No, come on, that must be a typo. It was used for cutting heroin. As if heroin wasn't bad enough. Now you can just turn into a full-blown zombie. Well, that kind of makes sense that would pair like that, okay. Well approved by the FDA for veterinary use. Oh, no, wait. You're not just trying to paste this, or rather paint it as horse paste? Damn it, I gave up my joke early. Interesting. It's interesting what they want to go full press on. Something that might end up helping you, as opposed to something that's definitely, if given enough time, will 100% kill you. Interesting. Are there any snarky tweets that are out there and saying that the Tranq is for animals, not for you, dope? Yes, xylazine, Tranq, if you will, a non-opioid, is not so safe for humans. Oh, no! And those who overdose on the drug do not respond to naxolone or Narcan, the most common overdose reversal treatment. I'll take your word for it. I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't do any of that type of degenerate stuff. So my propensity and my chance of overdosing on this stuff is about that much. Xylazine causes sedative-like symptoms, such as excessive sleepiness and respiratory depression, as well as raw wounds that can become severe and spread rapidly. Oh, great, wonderful, fantastic. We'll just go ahead and try to pre-screen these, and that's gross. Yeah, some of that stuff I'm never going to be able to forget in my entire life. It's... If I can describe it to you guys, if you want to see the pictures, go ahead and read through them yourselves. The one that you just seen a little brief snippet of, that is definitely the least severe of them. The rest of them will make your skin crawl or fall off. Anyways, because it's not listed as a controlled substance for animals or humans, Tranq lands in a confusing and horrifying gray area, as hospitals rarely test for it in routine toxicology screenings. Well, if they're looking at anything like that, and it's like, and you know about the new hotness that's hit the streets, chances are. Last month, one Philly user suddenly developed Xylazine-specific wounds near her opioid injection sites. Great. I wake up in the morning crying because my arms were dying, said a drug addict, Tracy McCann. That sounds like a fake name. 39 told the New York Times. City reported that 90% of lab-tested dope samples from 2021 contained xylazine. And this is the first time that we're hearing about it, which can increase the risk of overdose when combined with other illicit substances. Lethal combination of substances is what gives xylazine its appeal. The high of the opioid, such as fentanyl, is extended with the help of Tranq. It's too late for Philly. Well, you could have said that about a multitude of things. You're going to have to go ahead and narrow it down a bit. Philly's supply is saturated, and if places around the country have a choice to avoid it, they need to hear our story. You have to listen to our truth. Stop having needle drugs on the streets. No, you want to give these people nice, safe places where they can shoot up, right? You remember those little crack kits that the Biden administration was handing out? Well, here you go. A whole bunch of problems, but nobody ever wants to address the problem. It's almost like you see those little Tranq sores on your body, and instead of getting to the root cause of stop injecting yourself, no, you're just going to go ahead and wipe the pus away. That'll make everything better, right? Tranq is basically zombifying people's bodies. Cool. They're just big fans of The Last of Us, and they want to have very accurate cosplay. So just, come on. The worrying Tranq trend comes as New York City departments of health reported 2,668 New Yorkers died of overdoses in 2021. Round of applause. Good job, Eric Adams. Doing the Lord's work. Useless. Gary Tsai, the Director of Substance Abuse Prevention and Control in the LA County Department of Public Health, believes the drug's prevalence would increase deaths from overdoses. Oh well, eventually, if given enough time, won't all the junkies just kind of die out? So, as somebody who is a bit of an accelerationist myself, is this such a bad thing? According to a 2022 report, xylazine has been discovered in 36 states. Cool, just well over halfway there. In New York City alone, the drug was found in 25% of samples. Yeah, because, well, Philly's like a stone's throw away. It's basically the fifth borough, so come on. Earlier this month, the San Francisco Department of Health announced that low levels of xylazine were found in the systems of 4 people who overdosed. Oh, no. Just that week? Oh, no, just that month. Oh, okay. Suggesting the substance can be hidden in drugs unbeknownst to the users. Yeah, oh no, make sure that your heroin is well cut. Heaven forbid anything bad would happen. But we kind of already know, and that's weird that it's... Okay, so this article was written October 12th, 2022, so they already knew about it back then, but now it's starting to make the rounds that's out there. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I better do my due diligence and show you what are the signs and side effects, because all the rest of that stuff is just kind of hyperbolic. It's like, oh my god, they're zombifying bodies. Well, what does it actually do? And we know from the title, monster worse than fentanyl. Well, it's mostly worse or worked in conjunction. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So is xylazine worse than fentanyl? That depends on what worse means. Well, what do you mean by worse? We have to define the terms. Lethal dose of xylazine in humans is hard to pin down, partly because the drug is rapidly and irregularly metabolized. Interesting. But it's clearly more than 2 milligrams of fentanyl that will kill you. Xylazine is less dangerous when used alone, but you're also finding it paired in a bunch of different locations. But this is not what's going on. Xylazine is typically added to fentanyl and heroin to cut them. Great. It's safe to say that xylazine is less potent than fentanyl, but here's the bad news. Unlike opioids agonists, sure. Xylazine is an alpha-2 blocker. Very few drugs operate by this mechanism. Okay, that means that Narcan won't do a thing, nor will anything else. There is no antidote. There is a list of adverse effects in humans, and this is kind of what I'm more concerned about, just in case anybody gets jabbed up with something. Know what you're dealing with here. Blurred vision, disorientation, drowsiness, staggering, coma, brachycardia, respiratory depression, hypertension, meiosis, a shrinking of the pupils, and hyperglycemia. Interesting. And this, rotting flesh. I'm not posting the pictures. Yeah, I had to see them. You can if you want, you sick bastards, but I'm not going to show you. Okay, so Jeffrey Singer, a fellow at the Cato Institute, ACHS advisor and frequent writing partner on the website, okay, has written about the iron law of prohibition. Yeah, when a drug is banned, it's usually replaced by one that's even worse. Well, in this case, it's more or less a lateral step, okay. News reports about the growing presence of nidazine, among the mix of street drugs. It should come as no surprise to anyone familiar with what has come to be known as the iron law of prohibition. The economist Alchian Allen effect concept was applied to prohibition, alcohol, cannabis, and other illicit substances. Yeah, because guess what? Most people are just kind of stupid. They just want to live in a reality that's just, you know, cozy enough where their basic needs are taken care of. They don't necessarily want to move up or down. Most people are just worker ants, and they're totally fine with that existence. You know, if you're listening to stuff like this, chances are you don't fall in that category. But most people are working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5s, and they're just all working for Friday evening to just cash their paycheck, spend it over the weekend, and then repeat the cycle from the age of 18 all the way to 65, cash in their 401k or their RRSP, live a banal, unremarkable, unimportant existence. So even with this, a new drug that's getting mixed into a bunch of other IV drugs, it's not going to be the last one. There's going to be one that's going to be even worse into the future. Might be another one that's the exact same stuff that's even more difficult to detect, but stated it a couple of different times in this video here. You know how you stay away from this stuff? Stop sedating yourself. Stop drinking. Stop doing drugs. Stop procrastinating. Take steps to improve every aspect of your life that is important. And then you won't have to worry about any of this stuff, and you can just laugh at the dopes that just are kind of, you know, shambling and falling apart. Then you can run their pockets after they die and figure out if they have anything worthwhile in them. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.